Hello, guys, and welcome back to League One predictions. We are back to predict the third tier of English football for the final time in the regular season. Guys, before we get into the predictions, I do just want to start off by saying a massive thank you from myself and Benjamin Bloom for all of your support this season. We've always wanted to collab, me and Ben, but we've only been able to put it together this season, and the League One predictions was a sort of last-minute idea, and we've really enjoyed it. And we think, Ben, we're going to be doing this again next season. How are we, by the way?
Yeah, I'm all right, mate. I've got to apologise to you and the viewers. Matt and I had this call booked in for 1 hour ago, and I completely forgot because we spoke like a couple of days ago. Matt and I did some excellent analysis on Ipswich Town's relegation that you should go and check out over on my channel. And Matt sends me this text at like 7 minutes past 10. Yeah, ready when you are. And I'm like, no, I've completely forgotten. So we're going to be talking a lot about the beach today, Matt. I was very much on the beach at 10 a.m. this morning, not paying attention. So apologies to you, mate. I'm really happy to be here.
No, honestly, I've loved the content between us this season, Ben. Like I say, looking forward to doing it again next year. So if you're a League One enthusiast, be sure to get involved. A quick little teaser for next week. We'll do the League One playoffs and the League Two playoffs together. But let's go for some support, guys. Let's really push the plugs on this final one today. I want to say, like I say, a massive thank you again. If you haven't already got involved, do drop a like. It takes 2 seconds to hit the subscribe button. So click it over here and go on, pause the video. Click the first link in the description. Make sure you're subscribed to Benjamin Bloom. Like I say, we've been as consistent as we can be this season, and we really do appreciate your support. So support us as well. Let's talk about the scores from last time, Ben, where we had 14 games and we had a total score of Matt 6, Ben 18.
Oh, my God. It's over.
It's over.
It's done.
I got absolutely slaughtered there. So, Ben, you're now 9 points ahead going in to the final week. I don't know how I'm going to pull this off.
Oh, I'm really, really pleased about that. Do you know, I don't know, how are you and Soph lined up on your channels? Who's taking those gongs?
I'm winning in both Prem and Championship.
Oh, me and Parkin are 2020 going. It's like the Championship relegation zone going into. We've won 20 weeks each going in. I'm really, really pleased with that.
Guys, play along with us. Get your predictions down below, and let's get into it, Ben. So we've got the 12 games at the weekend, but before that, we have 2 games in midweek, starting tonight at Bloomfield Road. It's a party on Blackpool Pleasure Beach for Birmingham City. A Steve Bruce derby, Ben. What are you saying?
Well, it's a dead rubber other than the idea of, well, Birmingham's points total, really, because it's can we get 1-1-1? I don't know about the actual state of play of the records. Is Reading's 106? Is that like an EFL record? Because, I mean, they're surely going to... Yeah, so I think it's just the focus for the Birmingham players now is, can we put a points total down that's going to be so hard for anyone to beat, basically ever, isn't it? And what's the 32 wins? Could be 34 wins. And let's get part one of it out of the way, because you just don't see a nice... We saw Leeds in the Championship relaxed against Bristol City, just pulverised them on Monday night. And you do kind of feel, okay, it's not a home game like the Leeds one was. You do kind of feel that Birmingham are going to be able to do the same. We've gone a bit looser with our Birmingham scorelines. Let's go 3-0, Matt.
3-0. Okay. Yeah, I'm back in Birmingham. I'm getting them on course for the 111. I just think away from home, and with Blackpool being pretty decent at home, I know they've not got anything to play for either, but I'll go 2-1 to Blues. I reckon Blackpool will give them a go. They always tend to score, so I'll have Blackpool 1, Birmingham 2. And Ben did a great piece on Birmingham City and Wrexham on his channel yesterday. So if you haven't checked that out already, which I'm sure you have, but if you haven't, if you're a Birmingham and Wrexham fan, do be sure to check that out. We're looking
Lots
forward
of
to
people from this parish have commented on that piece as well, Matt. So great that, welcome across to the Wrexham and Birmingham fans.
Yeah, we're looking forward to seeing how they get on next season. And as for Blackpool, we'll see you again in League One next season. Actually, we'll see you again later in the video because we're predicting you twice. The other midweek game, Ben, is Mansfield versus Peterborough. Mansfield, Ben, I've got to be honest, I know it's all if buts and maybes, but if they had 3 points less, they'd be going into this weekend in a very precarious situation. I feel like they've sort of fallen over the finish line here. Did very well in the first half of the season, but they've tripped over the line. I'm opening up the beach here, Ben. 4-1 Peterborough.
Can the beach apply because it's an evening game? I mean, the beach is well and truly open at 12:30 on Saturday. That bright sunshine. I just wonder if we can find that Mansfield fan. Do you remember who sent me a direct message saying, "Have we got something against Mansfield?" That was when they were like 10th in the league or something, and I'm kind of like, did you tempt fate, matey? Is this your fault? You know, did you put some bad energy into the universe? Because look what's happened to Mansfield since. Oh, I am going to not open the beach just yet. Although I like Posh and I like both teams to score, I'll go a bit more conservative than you, Matt. Mansfield 1, Posh 2.
There you go. Both got the Posh win. Can Posh maybe push towards mid-table with these last 2 games? Possibly. And with the cup final win, of course, that would be a decent end to the season now as well. For Mansfield, Ben, back-to-back hammerings, 5-1 against Reading, 4-0 against Birmingham, which you predicted, by the way, so fair play on that prediction. Ben, we're going back up to the Pleasure Beach. It's Blackpool again. They take on Bristol Rovers. This one won't be a party for the Gas fans because they've been relegated, Ben. They've got to be like the worst form team in England. What are you saying on this?
Just a horrible, horrible collapse. And we often see clubs go Hail Mary when their teams are down at the bottom. And I almost feel, I'd like to see someone do the data on this, in the last couple of seasons, it's almost worked better. There seems to be more examples of where changing your manager has actually worked. Because I remember we got to a point, particularly in the Championship a few seasons ago, where people were changing their manager. It made absolutely no difference whatsoever. And the likes of you and me were sat here going, well, you know, what was the point in that? What did that achieve? I know sometimes it's about the outgoing manager rather than the incoming manager, but it just hasn't really worked for Bristol Rovers. Horrible, slide down the table. You rightly said when we started doing these League One videos that it's a very unique relegation with 4 going down, and you do seem to get a collection of teams around that. It does always seem to be a bit brutal relegation. I mean, I know it's all done now, but just a terrible, terrible run for Bristol Rovers, and I can't see them having the confidence to get anything up here at Blackpool, up at your Pleasure Beach. I don't want to really twist the knife and go for a big defeat. I think Blackpool can get 2 up in this, and everyone will kind of shake hands and go home, really. So I'll go Blackpool 2, Bristol Rovers 0, and I take no pleasure in saying this. Goodbye, Bristol Rovers fans, for these videos. Hopefully see you in a couple of years.
Yeah, hopefully this time next year we'll be talking about them coming back up. Commiserations. It's been a rotten run of form. You've actually stolen mine there, Ben. That's a scribble.
Okay.
I will now go 3-0. I was going to go 2-0, but perhaps the same logic as yourself. Blackpool go 2 up, but this time they get a late goal, and that's where they get the third. So I'll go 3-0 Blackpool to end the season on a high for them. And we'll see if Bristol Rovers can dust themselves down and pick themselves up in League 2 next year. Ben, I'm up first for Bolton versus Stevenage. Crazy to think Bolton not even close to the playoffs now, Ben. On the final day, 8 points off. I know they're 8th in the table, but 8 points off, Ben. 1 point in the last 5 games. They take on Stevenage, Ben, who got a 1-1 against Rotherham last time. Their form is a bit up and down. Difficult, this. I will give it to Bolton, but I'm not sure why. They've got to pull a result out, surely. 1-0.
Yeah, I'm thinking I might go draw on this one because it really just is complete dead rubber, isn't it? And you'd think Bolton, I mean, maybe there can be some confidence. They've got a good manager in there, go again next season, etc. I was thinking about a Desmond, but being as you've gone low, I think I'm going to be influenced by your prediction. So I'll wind a Desmond in for a 1-1, Matt.
1-1. Yeah, I like that. Share your thoughts down below. Surely Bolton have got to have a big summer transfer window, Ben, if they're going to try and challenge again next year. It's just been a real car crash ending to this season. For Stevenage, I suppose that's a good news story mid-table, Ben. I think they've done pretty well, haven't they?
Yeah, you've been full of praise for them all year, and rightly so, because I know Steve Evans failed miserably at Rotherham, but I think we both thought, kind of cult of personality manager leaving after a massive overperformance. This smells like a relegation, and they've not been close, have they? Brilliant.
Yeah, well done. Right, on to the next one, Ben. Cambridge United, who've been relegated. They take on Birmingham City. So Birmingham, with both back to beat Blackpool, they're now away at Cambridge. If they win this, obviously 111. You're up first. What are you saying?
Yeah, I'm saying 111, but should we go for a bit of jeopardy? Because I think Cambridge can score in this. So wouldn't it be fun if Cambridge took the lead and Birmingham had to come from behind to get to the 1-1-1? Shall I go 2-1 or 3-1, Matt? Let's go 3-1 Blues.
Nice. Okay, I quite like that. I've got 2-0 Blues. I think this one will be relatively straightforward, but I don't see them hitting 4s and 5s in this. I just think Cambridge have been a bit more solid, but maybe just too little too late. You look at the form, Ben. I mean, I know they've lost a few, but they have had a couple of wins in there lately, but it all seemed too little too late. And then obviously the defeat to Burton was the final
Matt,
nail.
there's often contracts to be played for in these games, though, where it's like, look, last game of the season against the champions, do you want another contract next year? Show me what you got. So there is motivation for these relegated teams.
I guess, yeah, exactly. And like I say, we'll see how they get on next season. For Birmingham, thank you for being a part of our League One predictions. They've flown right through it, haven't they, Ben?
And Birmingham, thank you for being blooming easy to predict with 33, 34 wins as well. It's been a pleasure when that one's come up on the card every week. Yeah, well done.
Incredible. Ben, next up we go to the Valley. Charlton Athletic take on Burton Albion. I want to just start off by saying a massive well done to Burton Albion, Ben. I know they were the most likely of the teams to have got out of it when we looked at it a month ago, but there was still a 6-7 point gap. And I know we could touch on the fact Bristol Rovers have been on a terrible run, but Burton have had to put the points together. And you look at where they are in the table, Ben, the form table, that's 8 points in the last 5. That's, top half form. So they've really improved as the season's come to its climax. Now that they're over the line and they're taking on a Charlton team,
here comes the bad news.
I'm just thinking, Ben, Charlton obviously needs some momentum. They'll be frustrated of the manner of defeat to Wrexham. Obviously, Wrexham have been promoted. Charlton are guaranteed to finish in the playoffs no matter what. I suppose here's a guarantee, Ben. If Charlton win, the only thing that could stop them finishing in the top 4 is if Stockport and Wycombe draw with each other later. So they'll get that home game second. That's a motivation, isn't it? I'll go for the classic 1-0 Charlton, Ben.
Yeah, and it's so difficult, isn't it? We sit here and we try, and it's a fool's errand, isn't it? We try and figure out not only who's going to get into the playoffs, we're trying to work out who's going to play who as well beforehand. And you're right to say that in terms of Charlton finishing third, well, that's impossible, isn't it? With the goal difference, unless they, rack up a cricket score and say Wycombe and Stockport draw 0-0. Yeah, I know the goal difference doesn't change. I'm talking myself in circles, but basically we're 99% sure that Charlton are going to finish in the 4th versus 5th playoff, and then it's just, are you playing home first or second? Of course, they're going to want to end with a win. They're going to want to play at home second in the playoffs. I do think Burton, job done, relax, Charlton win. You've taken the classic. 2-1, Matt. I'll go same margin of victory. 2-1 Charlton. And we'll figure out where that leaves everybody at the end of the video, yeah?
Yeah,
but we both got them going to 85, yeah?
Yes. Yeah, we could have 3 teams on 85, yeah, if Stockport and Wycombe draw later, which we're going to come on to. I'm really looking forward to these playoffs, Ben. I've been looking forward to these for a while. It feels very open. You've got plenty of good teams in there. As you said last week, a good team is not going to go up this season. There's that many of them. Ben, this is a game with a lot riding on it. Huddersfield Town versus Leyton Orient. Huddersfield, Ben, 10th, 5 defeats in a row. Obviously, the talking point here is Leyton Orient. If they win, they've made the playoffs, unless obviously Reading won 9-0, but that's not going to happen. So winning, they're in there. Looking at Reading's fixture, Ben, you do imagine Reading might win. So Orient probably do have to go and get the win. You're up first. I think you're probably going to back them. What are you saying?
Yeah, surely. Surely. There's so many intangibles in football, and people talk about momentum and feeling and intensity and as things you can't quantify. But how can those Huddersfield players go into this game with more chutzpah and up and at them than later? They can't, can they? They just can't, given the 2 runs. So um, let's go for it to be tight, though. Huddersfield 0, Orient 1. I think it might get nervy. I think they might start second guessing themselves when they get a goal up. Not that Richie Wellers would ever second guess himself, but do you know what I mean? It's last day, isn't it?
Yeah, I've got Orient just doing it as well, Ben. I've got Huddersfield 1, Orient 2. I suppose Wrexham have gone and grabbed most of the headlines this year. Obviously, Birmingham have, but Wrexham in terms of coming from the National League. But definitely don't forget, Orient were non-league a few years ago, had plenty of financial problems, and they've really got into a good position here, Ben, to get to the Championship. So we will see. We're both backing them. Ben, I was just mentioning Wrexham. Let's give them a massive congratulations. They are up next. They are away at Lincoln City. A draw and they end on 90 points. A win and they end on 92, the classic 2 points per game. I'm up first for this one. I don't think it'll be straightforward. I think Lincoln are a solid team at home. But I think Wrexham are just going to come here with so much confidence and positivity after getting over the line. They could be, I don't know, a little bit of a hangover, I wonder, Ben. No, they're professionals, Ben. They're going to win this 2-1. Wrexham are going up with another win.
I want a hangover somewhere. I always remember Ipswich playing Harry Redknapp's Portsmouth. They were brilliant, that Portsmouth team. They had Paul Merson playing in the Championship and Todorov up front. And Ipswich played him after Pompey had already won the title at Acanter. And yeah, there was a big hangover on that one. I don't know what that says for Harry and Mercy, etc., just easing off at the end of the season. But we haven't had one yet in the Championship. So I'm going to go for one here. I'm going to go for Wrexham to rightly have their feet up, party all week, and lose this game. Let's go Lincoln 2, Wrexham 1.
Oh, there you go. We've got the flip. 2-1 Lincoln, and I've got 2-1 Wrexham. And like I say, once again, a massive congratulations to Wrexham on their promotion. Incredible, Ben. 3 promotions in a row. I'm not sure if that's ever been done at this level. So fair play to them. And yeah, who knows?
The unprecedented is on. I mean, that would be no one could surely repeat that, could they? But hey, Championship ain't easy to plough straight through, I tell you.
No, it isn't, but we will see them in the Championship next year, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they do. Ben, Mansfield are up again next. They're at home to Exeter City this time. So Mansfield 19th, Exeter City 15th. That depends, obviously, by the way, if Mansfield get anything beforehand in that game against Peterborough. Fixture congestion, I wonder if that'll be a problem at all, Ben. You're up first. What are you saying?
Should we give Mansfield a win? You said they've been terrible for the longest time, haven't they? Let's go for a classic. Both teams to score Mansfield home game. Remember those halcyon days of September? Let's go. It's the final day, so bonus points ahoy. Let's go 3-2 Mansfield.
Oh, Ben, I like it.
See if I can throw away this 9-point advantage I've got going into the last day of the season.
I'm going to have to go in the opposite direction then to play tactically. I'm going to go Exeter 2-1. Exeter have been ending the season fairly well, and with a win, Ben, they could still finish. Look how tight the middle is. They could still finish 12th with a win here, Ben.
Wow.
Top half for Exeter City. That'd be very, very good. And Mansfield, as I say, the form's not great, so I will back them to lose again. I'm sorry. But like I say, congratulations on staying up. Speaking of staying up, Ben, we've got Northampton and Wigan next. Obviously, they've got over the line this season. It's 16th away at 18th place. This, for me, has to be my 1-1 draw, Ben. I really don't think there's a lot to separate these two. Once again, the motivation, what's it going to be? You can maybe argue Northampton might win with the home advantage, but Wigan have been in good form, actually. So I'll go down the middle, 1-1 for this one.
Yeah, that's a scribble. So on a regular game week that wasn't 46, Matt, I'd be going nil on this one, wouldn't I? You bump it up to a 1-1 because it's round 46. I can't go to a Desmond, not for Wigan and Northampton, no. I'll back Wigan. Why not? Northampton 0, Wigan 1. Low margin, so here comes a 3-3 draw, yeah?
Yeah, probably. Wigan have actually ended the season with a little bit of a spring in their step, haven't they, Ben? I know it's a few draws, but they haven't lost in a few games. So, yeah, maybe. I mean, once again, Wigan could still Wigan could still finish 12th as well. That's how tight the middle of the table is. They go into the weekend 16th, they could still finish 12th.
Should I just say an early one here? Look out for them next season. I don't know why. I think there may be some improvement at Wigan next season.
Yeah, got that gut feeling. Ben, this one is another game with something riding on it. Reading versus Barnsley. We've obviously already backed Orient to win, but do we see Reading winning this to put the pressure on them? Because, Orient might not win. You're up first. What are you saying?
Yes. Yeah, I think they're going to win. I think both sides are going to win on final day. We've seen it before where you think who's going to slip up, and championship relegation last year, everybody wins. Nobody slips up. It happens, doesn't it? So let's go. I think they'll be more comfortable than Orient, being they're at home. 2-0 Reading.
Yeah, I quite like that. Final day of the season, I'm going to chuck some goals in. Let's go 3-1 to Reading. I think it's a really good crowd, Ben. I think it's not far off a sellout, which is really incredible. It would be quite the story. I'd love both Reading and Orient to get in there to complete the arcs on their brilliant stories, but they can't both get in there. Obviously, they've had a horrendous season off the pitch, Ben. Hopefully we can get like a resolution to that. I don't want to wind up the Reading fans, Ben, but there is a possibility they win this and miss out on the playoffs with 78 points. That's really unlucky, isn't it?
That's extremely unlucky. But let's be honest, the Reading fans, we think we're nearing a resolution with Mr. Dai Young, don't we? So, there's far bigger things at play. And if they're scoring 78 points this season and perhaps things have moved in a better direction ownership-wise next, then, maybe we can be positive about a Reading promotion, maybe a top 4 push next year rather than the top 6. But well done.
Yeah, absolutely. And like we said, we're back in Reading. There is a chance they could still get in there. They'll be hoping for a favour from Huddersfield. And a final word on Barnsley, Ben. They've been really underwhelming, and it looks like they could finish in the bottom half if they lose this and someone below them picks up the win. It's been poor. They lost home to Shrewsbury last week, by the way, as well, Ben. So, yeah, not a great ending to the season. It's a Steve Evans derby up next, Ben, as Rotherham take on Peterborough. 2 clubs that you associate with promotion chasing in this division, and they've not been up there. I know Peterborough have had the cup final win, but both underwhelming, both in the bottom half. I'm tempted to go for a Desmond, Ben, but I might pick a winner. I've already given Peterborough the win against Mansfield, so I'll go Rotherham here. 2-1.
All right, I'll take the Desmond then. It does feel fairly likely in the Johnson Clark Harris derby. It does feel beachy, doesn't it? And I've backed Posh already against Mansfield, so I'll land on the draw. 2-2.
2-2. I like it a lot. Share your thoughts down below. Ben, Shrewsbury Town take on Crawley next in what will be a League 2 game next season. Shrewsbury won away at Barnsley last week, so I will give them some credit for that. Fair play to them. Crawley, Ben, have been on a little bit of an improving run recently. 7 points in the last 3. They just left it too late. They have had moments where they've been quite good. How does that make you feel coming into this one? They're both down now, but what's your thoughts?
Well, let me ask you a question. If Scott Lindsay hadn't left Crawley at the start of the season to go to MK and then come back again, it looks for all the world like Crawley would have mid-50s on the points and be stable here, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It does. It's that middle chunk of the season where it's all gone wrong.
Yeah, I'll back Crawley then, Matt, to end a horrible season for Shrewsbury. I think because it's an away game, I think if it was at Crawley, I might even go for a big scoreline in this one, that they could just end Shrewsbury's horror show. I'll go for some goals, though. I can't go for 5. I'll go for 4. Shrews 1, Crawley 3.
Oh, I quite like that. So, just looking at these last couple of results, Ben, Crawley went to Birmingham, got a 0-0 draw, beat Exeter at home 3-1, beat Northampton at home 3-0. So they're in really good form, even though I know they've just been relegated. So I will back them. I'll go same margin. Shrewsbury 0, Crawley 2. And I wish them both luck going into League 2 next season. Final game then, Ben, is Wycombe versus Stockport. You could say there is something riding on this in the battle to finish 3rd in League 1. Obviously, they're jostling for positions here. Wycombe and Stockport. Just imagine, though, Ben, if Wrexham had 4 or 5 less points on the board coming into this would have been a great finish to the season. Still a decent game. What I will say, Ben, is Wycombe have just lost to Leyton Orient. They've just lost to Charlton. And if they lose to Stockport, they're going into the playoffs, losing to all the teams they could be coming up against. So, not great. I have a feeling Stockport are going to wrap up third place. I like them for a clean sheet win. I'm actually going to go 1-0 Stockport, Ben.
Oh, that's quite bold. And yeah, I'll raise you. I think it's really important to finish third because, and as much as we've praised Orient and Reading, they're clearly a level below. You want that third place. That route into the final at Wembley is far, far easier if you finish third. And like you, I'm going to be giving it to Stockport, but I am, Matt, predicting that all three are going to finish on 85 because I'm going to go for a 0-0 draw, which would put Stockport 85 plus 28, Wycombe 85 plus 27. What did I have Charlton winning? 2-1, Matt?
Yeah.
85 plus 23. So I've got a cigarette paper between all of them, but Stockport, and again, talking about, and you and I have talked at length about the chasms in the Premier League and at the top of the Championship. It's brilliant to see teams that have been in League One, in the National League and League Two, all at the top of League One now. It's far more open in this part of the EFL, and God bless the EFL. 0-0.
Yeah, I like it. So yeah, Ben, you'd have third, fourth, and fifth separated on goal difference, sixth and seventh separated on goal difference, and 20th and 21st separated by 1 point, making it look a little bit more dramatic than it was down at the bottom. All those predictions play out. I really enjoyed this, Ben. So we will be back, like I say, for League One and League Two predictions. Ben will also have some coverage of that on his channel. So let's get into those plugs for one last time. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to both of us. It takes 2 seconds. Ben, can I just say a massive thank you for being a part of this? We've really enjoyed working with each other, but it looks like you're going to take home the League One Predictions King title as well. Any final words?
It's been fantastic. Yeah, well done to Birmingham and Wrexham, who are going to be fantastic to cover in the Championship. And obviously, Matt and I have got plenty of coverage there, so we'll see you lot over there. Good luck, Stockport, Wycombe, Charlton, Orient and Reading fans in a potential playoff. And to the teams down the bottom, fingers crossed, you'll be back. It's not quite as straightforward bouncing back from League Two into League One as it is in other divisions. As I've just said, a bit more of an even playing field. And yeah, big thanks to you, Matt, to kind of break the fourth wall a little bit. I do a lot of stuff where I'm scripting and I'm hosting and I'm driving the thing, and it is an absolute pleasure to sit here, be a contributor, let you do your thing, and kind of just jump in. It's really, really good fun and something that I'm really looking forward to next season and hopefully beyond.
Yeah, honestly, like I say, I've really enjoyed it. I think myself and Ben have built up a really good chemistry between ourselves, and we're looking forward to seeing how that develops further. Like I say, the playoffs are still to come. We've still got Premier League coverage coming on our channels. Obviously, we've got the Premier League check-in where we might be looking at the European race at some point, which is looking pretty interesting. So be sure to get involved with all of that. I know the League One regular season predictions have come to an end, but don't cry because it's over. Smile because it happened. We will see you in the next one. Take care. Peace out.